Okay, first of all, I want to say deep condolence for Mbak Rayi. Yeah, the father is going pass away this morning, and I hope that Mbak Rayi and family will have a lot of sincerely ya. Semoga Mbak Rayi dan keluarga diberikan ketabahannya. Berita duka pagi hari ini ayahanda meninggal gitu ya. Jadi mungkin teman-teman yang di kelas apa ya tadi ya, kelas A ya, kemungkinan tidak bisa membuka kamera karena beberapa teman takziah ya ke tempat Mbak Rayi. Kita doakan semoga ayahanda Mbak Rayi dan keluarga Mbak Rayi diberikan ketabahan dan dilapangkan jalannya untuk ayahanda tercinta. Okay, good morning, Professor Dato.
Morning.
Thank you very much for joining with us again this morning.
Ada berita.
Iya, betul.
Ya, kita
Salah satu
ucapkan takziah bagi dan ini Islam kita sebelum kelas kita mana yang Islam kita baca surah Al-Fatihah.
Ya.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Arrahmanirrahim.
Okay. Innalillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Okay. Today we continue our class because of Monday I busy with the very important meeting. Thank you for those be able to attend today. Today is about the leadership. Leadership. Everybody can see this slide?
Yes. Yes, we see
this
it.
Is chapter 12 about the characteristic of leaders. Leaders. This is all about the theory of leaders. The basic approach for the leaders. Basic approach to the leaders. Okay. After complete this class, after the end of the class, students be able to summarize the conclusion of the theory of leadership. The prime theory or the major theory is trait theory of leadership. So many theory. If you are doing the bachelor S1, you need to know not more than 10 leadership theory. If you pursue for the masters, you must know at least 500 theory of leadership. 500, not 50, 500. When you pursue the P.hD, you must know more than 1,000 theory. So many theory now, but there are major theory, then there are sub theory. Okay. At the end of this class, we're going to be able to identify the central tenet and main limitation of behavioral theories. This behavioral theories is very important. Next is should be able to contrast contingency theory of leadership. Should be able to describe contemporary theories of leadership and their relationship to foundational theories. where they have the very old theories, and at the end of class, students be able to discuss the role of leaders in creating ethical organization in society. In we is the everybody is the leaders. Everybody is the leaders. Okay, and then you'll be able to discuss the role of leaders in creating ethical organization. You'll be able to describe how leaders can have a positive impact on their organization through building trust and mentoring, and be able to identify the challenges to our understanding of leadership. Okay. Okay, what is leadership? What is leadership? When we talk about leadership, there is no there is many definition of the theory. But there is many definition of leadership. There is no one leadership use to the perfect use to the describe of leadership. But leadership, leadership is the ability to influence a group toward the achievement of the vision or set of the goal. That means they have the ability to influence a group of people in the group toward achievement, to achieve or to accomplishment of the vision and set of goal. Okay. The trait theory of leadership focus on personal qualities and characteristics. There is trait because of trait. Trait is sifat-sifat trait. There are two types of the characteristic. One is the leadership emergence, and second is leadership effectiveness. Okay, we go to the trait theory. Trait theory leadership. There are two conclusions. Number one, trait can predict leadership. Their trait can predict leadership. What type of leadership? Either transformational or transactional, democratic, or human relation, something like that. And trait do a better job predicting emergence of the leaders and the appearance of leadership than distinguishing between effective and effective leaders. They can easily label this is effective leaders, this is ineffective leaders. Okay. Personality trait and leadership. Number one, the famous theory trait of leadership is Big Five. Big Five. Big Five. Every OB student must know this theory. This theory always asking when you attend the interview. When you attend the interview, you must be able to explain the Big Five. Right. Many contemporary personality psychologists believe that there are 5 basic dimensions of personality in this Big Five trait. This often refers to the Big Five personality trait. These 5 primary personality traits are extraversion. Extraversion is strongest relation to leadership. Extraversion also often spell extroversion. Extroversion. This is one of the type of the trait must have among the good leaders. Second one is the agreeableness. Agreeableness is and emotional stability are not correlated with leadership. And then next is the openness. And conscientiousness and openness to experience also strongly related to the leadership. That means here the agreeableness and emotional stability are not correlated to the leadership. You must remember. You must remember. Okay. And then number 2 is dark side. Dark side trait. Dark side trait. What is dark side trait? Dark side trait is a normative score of machiavellianism, narcissism, with a dark side. Okay. Okay, what is that side? That side involved of the Machiavellianism. Okay, what is Machiavellianism? In the dark side trait, in that side trait, this is trait can be summarized into 6 personality traits in that side. Number 1 is argumentative, where they have the trait of argument. And then number 2 is interpersonal insensitivity. Interpersonal insensitivity. Next is narcissism. And then followed by the fear of failure. Fear of failure. They not dare of failure. Fear of failure. And very dangerous is perfectionism. That is dangerous. Perfectionism. They need everything is perfectness. Then next is the impulsivity. Any one of these traits can be destructive. However, three have been identified as the most hazardous to the staff. And that is the machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopathy. That is the 3 of them. And then next is the emotional intelligence. This is contribute to the emergence of leaders. How they control their EQ. That is very serious in the leadership. Emotional intelligence. If the leaders cannot control their EQ, they become a failure. To lead their group. Emotional intelligence. Because of EQ is very related to the patient, control their emotion. This is very compulsory to the leaders if they try to success. What is mean emotional intelligence? What is mean emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence, known as the ability to understand, to use and manage your own emotion in positive way to relieve stress. Remember, relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenge, and diffuse conflict. I repeat, EQ or emotional intelligence. EQ. Sometimes they call of the emotional quotient. the ability to understand everything, the ability to use, ability to manage your own emotion in positive way, to relieve stress. This is very important. Relieve stress, communicate effectively. Sometimes leaders not be able to communicate effectively. That is fall under the skill of the communication leadership or leadership communication. Their skill in the communicate when they acting as a leader, and empathize with others. Empathize, not sympathize. Sympathize is the external only. Empathize, they put yourself in others shoes or people's shoes, and overcome challenges and diffuse conflict. That is, I contribute to emergence of leaders. In Indonesia, we for sure we know the Bapak President, the President of Indonesia. They have the very strong EQ, very strong EQ. The new attempt to the try to the disturb the President of Indonesia, where have the we call it excuse for him. Their degree is the false or the not the real degree, the first degree. The first degree is fake. That is according to the their enemies. When the investigation committee make the investigation and declare that the certificate of the S1 of the president is the true. This is true. I think you know, you're aware about this case. Okay, next is behavioral theory. Behavioral theory of leadership. We can determine leadership effectively by leaders' behavior. That is shown by their behavior, by their attitude, and perhaps train people to be leaders. Then they can train to be leaders like that. For example, the famous of the behavioral theory in this is the Ohio study. Ohio study. That is the famous behavioral study. The most comprehensive and replicate of the behavioral theory resulted from research that began on Ohio State University in the late of the 1940s, where researchers at Ohio State sought to identify independent dimension of the leader's behavior, beginning with over the 1,000 dimension, beginning with over than 1,000 dimension. They eventually narrow the list of the two categories that substantially accounted the most of the leadership behavior described by employee. They call these two dimensions is, number one is initiating structure. Number one is initiating structure, and then number two is the consideration. Consideration. What is the initiating structure? Dimension into structure. Initiating structure is the refer to the extent to which leaders is likely to define and structure his or her role and those of employees in the search for the goal attainment. The goal attainment. Attempt to organize work, relationship, and goal. It includes behavior that attempt to organize work, relationships, and goal. The leader characterize this high in initiating structure could be described as someone who assign group members to particular tasks, expect workers to maintain definite standard of performance, and emphasize on meeting of deadline. And then number two is consideration, concern for the followers' comfort, well-being status, and satisfaction. This is consideration described as the extent to which a person is likely to have job relationship that are characterized by mutual trust, as respect for employee ideas and regard for their feelings. In this dimension, the person show concern for the follower comfort, concern with the well-being, status, and satisfaction. That is very good. They consider everything. They consider everything. And this is by the Ohio State. There are two dimensions. One from the 40,000. At the end of the research, they come up with the model. This is the model. Consists of the initiating structure, and the gist of initiating structure is attempt to organize work, attempt to organize a work relationship, and attempt to organize the goal. And number two, most important also, this concern with for the follower comfort, well-being, status. Okay. Okay. And then we go to the cultural differences. In world, in other country, they have different cultures. When they have different cultures, the leadership style also is different. For example, in a Communist Party country like the Republic People of China, Russia, they use the autocratic or Northern Korean. They use autocratic leadership. Autocratic. That the most important thing is everything from the leaders. And then the follower must obey the orders or all direction or instruction from the top. But in Brazil, leaders are participative and human. Leaders are participative and human. This is we call it participative leadership. They involve or they invite the subordinate or follower may participate in decision making. This is participative leadership or human leadership. In France, leaders are bureaucratic. Leaders are bureaucratic, where also they have the task-oriented. They focus on the task, accomplishment of the task, and autocratic also in France. In China, this is what I said earlier. Initiating structure and consideration important. Status differences, but participation value. Participation value is normally the lower level not make the involved in decision. There are responsibility from the higher authority. Okay, that is contingency theory. Contingency theory, the popular contingency theory by the federal leadership model, where effective group performance depend on the proper match between the leader style and the degree to which the situation give the leader control. This is contingency. Okay. And then the famous is the in this theory is Fiedler leadership model. This is least preferred co-worker or LPC. LPC, least preferred co-worker LPC, determine leadership style. This is use fixed trait. Fixed trait means we cannot change, not the variable state. This is fixed trait. Dia tetap. In terms of the relationship oriented, they follow the style. Everybody must follow the style and norm there. And then the task oriented. Okay? And match leaders' style with degree situational control, where leaders member relationship. They determine how to have relationship between leaders and members. And also how to control. They use a task structure. Everybody doing their job, not the general job. They have the special job for everybody. And the position power. Because of they reflect to the power. And then the leaders have the more power if compared with the follower. Okay. This is matching leaders to situation. Situation. This is line dot 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 and the straight line. Dot 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 is the task oriented. Continuous line is relationship oriented. This is poor, from poor performance to good performance. And then this type of the favorable, moderate, and unfavorable. We see the task oriented, very good task oriented, but they don't go to the moderate, but they go to the unfavorable. From the relationship oriented, they go to favorable, and then they go to the peak to moderable, and go to unfavorable. This is some of the new theory, the new theory, emergence of new theory like the human relation theory. This is about the relationship oriented. This is category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7, 8. We see the definition or the indicator. Leaders members relationship. 1 is good. 1 is good. And the 2 is good also. 3 is good. 4 good. 5 poor. 6 poor. 7 poor. 8 poor. Task structure. 1, category 1, high. And then category 2, high also. Category 3, low. Category 4, low. And then come back. Category 5, high. And category 4, high. Category 7 is category 6. 6, high. Category 7, low. Category 8, low. When referred to the position power, category 1 is strong power. And then category 2 is the weak. Category 3 is strong. And then category 4 weak. This is alternately strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak. Okay. This is about the situational leadership theory, or in short form SLT. And not the studying lecture time. Study lecture time. Now, this is situational leadership theory, and successful leadership depend on the selective, the right leadership style. In the research of the leadership style, they want to determine which leadership style we will bring the success of the organization. And successful leadership depend on the selecting the right leadership style, contingent of the followers, readiness to accomplish tasks. And number 1 category is unable and unwilling. Unable and unwilling. Number 2, unable but willing. Number 3, able but unwilling. Number 4 is very good. Able and willing. Able and willing. This is all situational. All situational for the give a real picture of the leadership style. This is common at the beginning of the emergence of theory, particle theory. Is the leader's job. Is the leader's job to provide follower with information. The follower need information. Follow with information, support, or other resources necessary to achieve goal. In this theory, they focus on the information, giving information, giving support, or giving other resources necessary to achieve the goal. Directive leadership yield greater satisfaction when tasks are ambiguous and stressful. The task is ambiguous, the blurred task, or very tense, stressful. Supportive leadership result in higher performance and satisfaction when tasks are structured. And directive leadership is perceived as redundant by employee with high ability of experience. That is that is the constraint in directive leadership. When the employee have a high ability or experience, which employee have the lower ability or low experience, and that is no problem for directive leadership. They can give directive to the employer, to the subordinate. But if they have the high ability and experience, that is difficult to use the directive leadership. Okay, next is the leaders participation model. They provide a set of the rule and determine the form, amount of participative decision making in different situations. This is more practices in the Japanese cultures, and very few in the Western cultures. Western cultures, they have the individual right, but in this leaders participation model, they invite everybody to participate in decision making. Sometimes they call the participative decision making. Sometimes they call this participative leadership, leadership, where everybody allow to take function, to take part in decision making. This is the very close example is Japanese cultures. In their organization, in their factory, they always allow everybody to involve in decision making. This is very popular theory, leadership member exchange, or in short form they call LMX, leadership membership exchange, where support leaders creation of the group and outgroup. Subordinate with in-group status will likely have a higher performance rating, less turnover, and greater job satisfaction. And then is the situation in the LMX theory, where subordinate with in-group status will likely higher performance rating. They have the high performance, perform well, and then because they perform well, they have the high or greater job satisfaction. The turnover is less. Or intention to quit, intention to leave the organization is less. That means turnover. Turnover means pusing ganti. Turnover means they quit from the job in organization. This is figure of the LMX theory. This is personality, compatibility, subordinate competence, and extrovert personality. This is contrast with introvert. Introvert that is very shy, not mixed with others. Extrovert is very kindness, and then always open to the have relationship with others. This is the compatibility, subordinate competence, and this is leaders. But in the personal compatibility, subordinate competence, and extrovert personality, they have the subordinate A, subordinate B, subordinate C. Subordinate A is helpfulness. Subordinate B is trust. Subordinate C is the high interaction, in group. That is leaders. But in the outgroup, that is formal relation. That is subordinate C, subordinate E, subordinate F. This is in group, directly, indirectly. This is directly. This is indirectly. Not directly. The direct, this is continuous line is the formal relation. The next is the theory of the charismatic leadership theory. Charismatic. Normally, people label the success people because of they have the charismatic. Attribution of the heroic leadership ability when follower observe certain behavior. For Muslim, the charismatic leadership is the Nabi Muhammad SAW, they consider is charismatic leadership. They have vision and articulation, very good vision articulation. They have the personal risk-taking, and then very brave, have personal risk-taking, and have the sensitivity toward the follower, and unconventional behavior. This is charismatic. This is question. Either the charismatic leaders is born or made. Charisma is partial attribute to genetic and partially to training and experience. Some people said charismatic is born. And some people said, no, charismatic is made. You can train them. You can train them. You can produce the charismatic leaders. And then developing an aura of charisma must be optimistic. Be passionately enthusiastic and communicate with body, not just word. The combination of the words and body language. Draw others in and inspire others. Tap into emotion, bring out the potential with others. This is charismatic. They try to show the good example to the followers. That's why the followers follow this leader, kind of leader, because of very attractive. How charismatic leaders influence followers? By articulate and appealing vision. They have the ability, make appealing vision, and communicate a new set of values. They propose a new set of value, model behavior for those value. Every value they have the very good model behavior and express dramatic behavior. Charismatic and situational dependency. Charismatic is strongly correlated to the high performance and satisfaction. Best used when environment in uncertain or stressful. That's a need a charismatic leader to guide them, to push them, to bring them to successful. Number two is ideology is involved. They have the very good ideology, most closely associated with upper level executive. People are most receptive to charisma when there is a crisis. This exists when the crisis. They can recognize some leaders have the charismatic because of they emerge when they have the crisis. The next is the dark side of charismatic leadership. Some leaders use organizational resources for the personal benefit. This always happens. Use organizational resources for personal benefit. And then remake companies in their own image. They use company to make their own image and allow self-interest and personal goal to override organizational goal. This is very dangerous when the use of the charismatic in organization. That is called the dark side of the charismatic leadership. Transactional and transformational leadership. This is always studied by the scholars or academician or P.hD student or postgraduate student now. Number one is the type of the transactional leaders. Motivate their followers in the direction of established goal by clarifying role and task requirement. This transactional, right? Motivate the followers and then show the direction to accomplish or establish the goal. Then number two is transformational. That is the type of inspire follower to transcend their own self-interest for the good of organization. That is another type of transformation leadership. But depend on the follower organization. They will choose which type of the leadership. Either they use transactional leadership or transformational leadership. This is characteristic transactional and transformational leaders in detail, the trait of them, characteristic or trait in transactional leaders. Number one, they have the contingent reward, where contract exchange of reward for effort, promises reward for the good performance, and recognizes accomplishment. Number two, management by exception. Exception means active. Watches and searches for deviation from rule and standard, takes corrective action. Number three is management by exception, passive. Number one, active. Number two, passive. Intervene only in standard are not met. Then next is laissez-faire. They abdicate responsibilities, avoid making decisions. If we compare with the transformational leadership, they have the characteristic of the idealist influence. Idealist influence, where provide vision and sense of mission, instill pride, gain respect and trust. This is idealist influence. Second one is the inspirational motivation. When the youth have the communicate high expectation, uses symbol to focus effort, expresses important purposes in a simple way. And number three characteristic is the intellectual stimulation. They promote intelligence, promote rationality, and promote carefully problem solving. And the last but not least, in transformational leadership, the characteristic is individualized consideration. Give the personal attention. Give the threat each employee individually and coaches and advice. That is the differences of the characteristic between the transactional leaders and the transprofessional leaders. Okay. This is for range of the leadership model. Divide by two. We see the four quadrant there. Effective, ineffective, at the bottom. At the top is effective, at the left is passive, at right is active. They go to the continuum, go to from bottom to up. And laissez-faire is the passive and ineffective. And management by exception, and then contingent reward. That is the transactional. We see on the transformational, they fall under the second quadrant. They have the individualized consideration, intellectual simulation, inspirational motivation, and idealist influence. That means if you see, this is transformational good or better practice rather than transactional. But some organizations, they still use transactional rather than use transprofessional. That is their selection. They select the transactional rather than transformational. How the transformational leadership works? Organizations with transformational leaders have greater decentralization of responsibility. That is they give power, give empowerment to the workers or employee to make decisions. That is, they call greater decentralization of responsibility. For example, the administration of the country like Indonesia, they give the centralization power to the other regional between the center at the Jakarta and at the Sumatra, or at the other place, where they have give power to the leaders to make decisions, not refer to the center at the capital of the Jakarta, something like that. And then managers willing to take risks. They have the empowered, but they must willing to take risks. Whatever decision, they must responsible. And then compensation geared toward long-term result. That is the how transformational leadership works. How to evaluate transformational leadership? The transformational leadership evaluate if effectively used in various job level and discrete occupation. Tend to be more effective in smaller company. If company small, this is transformation leadership. When company is big, that is not effective. Work better when leader directly interact with followers. And the work done very well when leaders very closely interact with the followers. And then this is very good. Number 4 is the trust of leadership can be learned. This is transformational versus transactional leadership. Transformational leadership is more strongly correlated with lower turnover. That means very good, lower turnover. And then high productivity, lower employee stress and burnout, and high employee satisfaction. That means the outcome, work outcome is very good. Work outcome is very good. Lower turnover, higher productivity, lower employee stress and burnout, and high employee satisfaction. Okay, authentic leadership. That is about ethic and trust. Ethic and trust. Authentic leaders know who they are, what they believe in a value, and act those value and belief openly and candidly. They must create trust, encourage open communication, and people have faith in them. Okay. And then we go to the concept of ethical leadership. Ethics and leadership intersect. Ethic and leadership intersect. They complement each other at many junctures. Ethic and leadership. The leaders must have the good ethics. If they don't have good ethics in Bahasa is the good behavior or akhlak. Executive set the moral tone for the organization, so they must set and adhere to high ethical value. Leadership is not value free. This is no value free. In sociology, they have the concept of value free. They don't care about the value. This is leadership is not value free, and the mean by which a leader achieves their goal must be framed by ethics. They must refer to the ethics, the good ethics. That's why in business management, you must also take the subject of business ethics. Socialized, charismatic leadership that convey the center value by leaders who model ethical conduct. Okay? This is another concept is servant leadership. This is also so many research done by researcher about the servant leadership. Servant leaders is go beyond their own self-interest and focus on opportunity to help followers to grow and develop. The effect of the servant leaders, a higher level of commitment to supervisors, high level commitment to supervisors. That means the subordinate giving the higher commitment to supervisors, then have the self-efficacy, and then perception of justice. They hope the getting justice, either distribution justice or reward justice. And then second is the increases team potency and higher group performance. Increase team potency and higher group performance. And then number three is the higher level of creative performance. Servant leadership may be more effective in certain cultures. Servant leadership are more effective in certain cultures. We look at another perspective. What is this servant leadership? Servant leadership. Because of, as I said earlier, so many so many definition of the leadership. There's so many type of the leaders, to mind of the leadership. The servant leadership, one of the very popular research doing by the researchers. That means I conclude. What is servant leadership? Servant leadership is the leadership style and philosophy whereby an individual interact with others. There are mass or compulsory situations where the individual interact with others, either in management of fellow employee capacity to achieve authority rather than power. Then I show the power. That the important thing is interaction. The system embody decentralized organization structure. Okay. They have several principles of the servant leadership. Number one is the honors others. Honors others before yourself. The leaders honors others, given respect to others. Number two is the inspire vision before setting the course. Before embark the job, the journey, they inspire the vision where they want to go, from where they want to go. Then choose ethics. Choose ethic. Ethic is a very good guidance for them before the profit, before their result. And then empower others. They put empowerment first. Empower others before personal gain. They don't care people have personal gain, but they put empower others. And then privileged people give freedom to the people to doing any job before they doing the task. And then balance focus with the flexibility. Before make decision, they have the balance focus with flexibility. They have the high flexibility to make decision. And serve with humility. That is very important. Okay. Okay. This is trust. About trust. What is trust? Trust normally involve 4 elements. Number one is taking risk. Number two, information sharing. And number 3 is enhanced productivity and effective growth. That's about trust. About trust. How to developing trust? How to develop trust? The factor the influence the trust is, number 1 is the leader's trustworthiness. The dimension under trustworthiness is integrity. They have benevolence, they have ability, and then they have the propensity to trust. So many factors contribute to the propensity to trust. They have the contribute to the trust, total of trust. And then the result of the trust, this is the outcome. The outcome is risk-taking, information sharing, group effectiveness, and productivity, either higher productivity or moderate productivity or low productivity. Okay, this is developing trust. Okay, next is concept mentoring. This is always happening in organization. Mentoring is the style, the program, or how they make or the guide the employee in doing the job. Mentor. Mentor is senior employee who sponsors and support a less experienced employee or protege. Got a mentor, got protege. Mentoring program benefit both mentor and protege. Benefit of mentoring are primarily psychological. That is the role or the cooperation between protege and the mentor. Okay, the good partners. The leadership as an attribution theory leadership. That is another theory. where performance outcome are attributed to the leader's action. Parent has more to do with leadership than actual accomplishment. And the substitute and neutralizer. Substitute means replace the need for the leader's support or ability to create culture. Neutralizes is organizational variable can neutralize the leader's influence or act as a substitute for the leadership, and leaders become irrelevant. Okay. This is the substitute for the neutralized or the leadership. We have these defining characteristic on the left, and then relationship-oriented leadership, and task-oriented. This comparison between the relationship-oriented leadership and the task-oriented leadership. That is the characteristic of individual, job, organization. Under the individual, we see the experience, training, professionalism, and in different what we see. In individual experience training, relationship, no effect on, and task substitute for. Professionalism under the relationship oriented, substitute for. Under the task oriented, similar, substitute for. Under the indifferent to reward, under the relationship oriented leadership, neutralize. Similar with task oriented leadership. And in terms of the creative job, highly structured tasks under relationship oriented leaders, no effect on. And under task oriented is substitute for. Provide its own feedback. The relationship oriented leadership, no effect on. But under the oriented leadership, substitute for. Intrinsic certifying, intrinsic certification, and under leadership oriented leadership, substitute for, and under the task oriented leadership, no effect on. This is differences between individual and organization. Under organization, explicit formalized goal. Under the rational relationship-oriented leadership, no effect on. Under task-oriented leadership, substitute for. Rigid role and procedures. Under relationship-oriented leadership, no effect on. Under task-oriented leadership, substitute for. Under the cohesion work group, substitute for, and task-oriented leadership, substitute for. Okay. Online leadership, identification-based trust based on the mutual understanding of each other's intention and appreciation of the other's want and desire. That is the very basic identification based on trust. Okay. Okay. To sum up this lecture for these chapters, the implication for the managers to ensure that your preference on the initiating structure and the consideration dimension match work dimension that dynamic and cultures. Hire candidate who exhibit transformational leadership quality. That is the advice from this chapter. Hire candidate who exhibit transformational leadership quality, not the transactional leadership quality, and who have demonstrated success in working through others to meet the long-term vision. Can be able to work with others. Hire candidates who are ethically and trustworthy. That is very important. Have a good ethics and have the trustworthy. Train manager in ethical standard. Every manager as a leader must have the very high ethical standard. Seek to develop trusting relationship with followers and consider investing in leadership training. Send them and provide training for them to sharpen their training skill. Okay, that's all for the chapters 12. Chapter 12. So we continue with the chapter 13. You can see the slide?
Yes, Professor.
Okay. This is more on the behavior also. Power and politics in organization. In organization, in organization or in workplace, this is very dangerous if you cannot manage these matters. The power and politics in organization. Okay, at the end of this class, students be able to contrast leadership and power. What is leadership? What is the power? Leaders must have a power, but the power not refer to the leaders also. Right? Explain the three bases of formal power and two bases of personal power. Then at the end of class, students be able to explain the role of dependence in power relationship and be able to identify power of or influence tactic in their contingencies. Be able to identify the causes and consequences of abuse of power. So many people now did the mistake when they abuse the power. Describe how politics work in organization. Be able to identify the causes and consequences and ethics of political. What is definition of power? What is definition of power? Power is capacity that A has to influence behavior of B so that B act according with the A wishes. That is mean they have power to change individual behavior. The most important aspect in power is that is function of dependent. That means they must dependent to the people instructed. Contrasting leaders and power. Differences, goal, compatibility, direction, influence, and research and precision. Differences, goal compatibility in leadership require goal congruent. In power, only need dependent. Direction for influence in leadership focuses on the downward influence. Power focus on the concern with the influence in all direction. Research emphasis leadership, emphasize leadership style, and in power, broader topic focuses on tactics used by individual and group. Formal basis of power. Formal power is based on the individual organization position. They based on position of the individual. Number one, we call coercive power. That is comply from the fear of the negative result. Coercive power. They have the coercive. They use coercive power. Number two, reward power. Comply due to desire for positive benefit. They receive reward. And then very important is legitimate power from the formal authority to control the use of organization resources. Okay, personal-based power. Personal power stems from the individual unique characteristic. Number one, they become expert. Expert means influence wielded as a result of expertise or special skill or special knowledge. And then this is different from reference power. Reference means based on identification with a person who has desirable resources or personal trait. Personal trait, that means they have the charisma. That is personal-based power, expert and reference. Okay, effective power-based, where expert and reference power are positively related to performance and commitment. Reward and legitimate power are unrelated to the organization outcome. Unrelated, reward and legitimate power are unrelated to the organization outcome. And then coercive power is negatively related to the employee satisfaction and commitment. You always use coercive power, they will give implication on the employee satisfaction and then also employee commitment. General dependent postulate. The greater B's dependence on A, the more power A has over B. That is the rationale. The greater B dependent on A, the more power A over the B. The general dependent postulate. What create dependent? Number one, because of importance. Number two, because of scarcity. Number three, because of non-substitutability. And this is a social network in the societies or in the organization and societies. And for example, this is consists of the 5%. He have the social network operation. He have the operation. They have contact with supplier, the project team, sales marketing, and contact with customer, contact the customer service, finance. Okay, so this is social network. Okay, power tactic. Power tactic is used to translate power based into specific action that influence others. How to influence others? They use influence others by the powers, by the tactic. Some are more effective than others. That is 9 influence tactic. And they use legitimacy, the use of the rule or law or norm. Number 2 is rational persuasion. They use persuasion. Number 3, inspirational appeal. That is more on the appealing. Number 4, consultation. Number 5, exchange. Number 6, personal appeal. Number 7, ingratiation. And number 8, pressure. And number 9, coalition. This is influence tactic effectiveness. Most effective, they use rational persuasion, inspirational appeal, and consultation. Least effective is a pressure. But sometimes the pressure is very good to use to the influence tactic effectiveness. Combining tactic increase effectiveness. They can combine between the persuasion and pressure, or rational persuasion, inspirational appeal, or consultation. The direction, consequences, individual skill, and organizational culture modify effectiveness. Okay, preferred power tactic by influence direction. Direction is very important in leadership. What is the power tactic you use? Upward influence, that is using the rational persuasion. When we use downward influence, you use rational persuasion also. Inspirational appeal, you use pressure, consultation, ingratiation, exchange, and legitimacy. Okay. You use also lateral influence by the rational persuasion, consultation, ingratiation, exchange, legitimacy, personal appeal, and coalition. That is depend how much you use the lateral influence, how much you use downward influence, and then how much you use the upward influence. The culture preference for power. Culture affect preference for the power tactic by the individualistic culture. See power in personalized term and as a legitimate means of the advancing personal end. Engage in more self-enhancement behavior. But in collective culture, see power in social term and as legitimate means of helping others. Under the collectivistic culture, this is different from the individualistic culture. Then we go to the political skill. Political skill, ability to influence others to enhance one's own objective. That is political skill. Political skill are more effective user of all the influence tactics. Political skills more effective when the stakes are high. Those with political skill can exert their influence without others detecting it. How power affect people? People with power will put their interests ahead of others. People with power have the objectivity if objectify others. People with power react to threat against their competence. People with power tend to be overconfident. Okay? But there can be positive effect on power that depend on the personality. Both depend on the personality. Okay? This is very common in organization. Always happen in organization. Sexual harassment is one type of the harassment. Another harassment is the race harassment, religious harassment, workplace harassment. This always happen in workplace harassment. Sexual harassment is any unwanted activity of the sexual nature that affect the individual employment or create a hostile work environment. More prevalent in male-dominated societies. This is if the society, the organization dominated by the male. Managers have the responsibility to protect their employees from the hostile work environment. That is very important. But so many cases, the cases of the sexual harassment increase from time to time in the workplace, and that is, be careful, that is very dangerous. And then organizational politics. Political behavior consists of activity that are not required as a part of individual formal role, but that influence or attempt to influence, that is politics, attempt to influence the distribution of advantage and disadvantage within organization. The reality of the politics in organization, politics arise in organization because of conflicting interests. They have the conflicts in interests, limited resources, ambiguity in decision making. Then politicking, twisting fact to support one own goal and interest. This is different from the lobby. The lobby is politicking. Normally, lobby is good for the organization because they try to the rationalize the leaders to make decision. And factor contributing to the political behavior. The factor is under individual, under organization factors. Under individual is high self-monitors. Number two is the internal locus of control. I make personality, organizational investment, perceived job alternative, and expectation of a success. And then organizational factor is reallocation of resources, promotion opportunity, low trust, role ambiguity, unclear performance evaluation system, zero-sum reward practices, democratic decision-making, high performance pressure, and the self-serving senior managers. Then from the two factors, they go to the political behavior, either low or high political behavior. And the outcome of the political behavior, they can produce the favorable outcome. Number one, reward. Number two is the averted punishment. There are only two, reward or punishment. Okay? Responses to organizational politics. Organizational politics may threaten employee, and then the result of the organizational politics is the decreased job satisfaction, or reduced job satisfaction, increased anxiety and stress, increased turnover, reduced performance. And that is not give a good benefit to the organization, and because of the effect of several person in organization or in the group. Qualifier to responses of the organization politics. The politics and performance relationship is moderated by the individual understanding of the who makes decision and why they were selected. why they were selected in the decision making committee or process. Political behavior at work moderate the effect of the ethical leadership. When politics are perceived as a threat, people respond with defensive behavior. They're not satisfied. They not feel in a very good situation. Eh? That's why they using the defensive behavior. What is defensive behavior in organization? There are several types of the defensive behavior. The level from the certain level. Number one is avoiding action. Avoiding action. What is avoiding action? Over-conforming, strictly interpreting your responsibility by saying things like the rule clear stated, or this is way we have always done it. That is over-conforming. And number two, under the avoidance action is bypassing. Transferring responsibility for the execution of the task or decision to someone else. Bypassing. Number three is playing down. What is playing down? Avoiding an unwanted task by falsely pleading, ignoring, and inability. Playing down. And then number four is stretching, prolonging the task so that one person appear to be occupied. For example, turning a 2-week task into the 4-month job and stretching. And next is stalling. What is stalling? Appearing to be more or less supportive publicly while doing little or nothing privately. Number two, on the level of the defensive behavior is avoiding blame. Now, what is avoiding blame? Number one is bluffing, rigorously documenting activity to project an image of the competence and thoroughness known as the covering your rear, bluffing. Number two, under avoiding blame is playing safe, evading situation that may reflect unfavorably. It includes taking on only project with a highly probability of success, having risky decision approved by superior, qualifying expression of judgment, and taking neutral position in conflict. Number three is justifying, where developing explanation that lessen one responsibility for a negative outcome, and or apologizing to demonstrate remorse or both. Number four is the scapegoating, placing the blame for the negative outcome on external factors that are not entirely blameworthy. And number five is misrepresenting, where manipulation and information by distortion, embellishment, deception, selective presentation, and obfuscation. That is the 6 under avoiding blame. The next is the avoiding change under defensive behavior, avoiding change. Number one is prevention, trying to prevent a threatening change from occurring. And number two is self-protection, acting in way to protect one's self-interest during change by guarding information or other resources. And that is all about the defensive behavior. And then we go to the impression management. What is impression management? Impression management is the process by which individuals attempt to control the impression others form, control the impression others form of them. How to using the impression management? Impression management and interview. They use the self-promotion. ingratiation work well, impression management and performance evaluation, ingratiation positively related, self-promotion in negatively related, impression management by the culture are our conclusion about response to politics globally valid, and we don't really know. Okay? The ethic of behaving politically. The three questions must be considered, and when you focus on the ethic behaving politically, one is what is the utility of engaging in politics? Number two, how does the utility of engaging in political behavior balance out any harm it will do to others? And number three, question number three, does the political activity conform to the standard of equity and justice? That is the ethics, the ethic behaving politically. You must answer this question or consider question for the practice this behaving politically. Okay, this figure is about the mapping your political career. There are several person there. Jamie in operation, and you have the networking with the Jas at the sale, Mati at IT, Elaine is HR, and Zach is finance. Zach is finance. Okay. Everybody have their subordinate. And then the below is the show very closely relationship between you, Jamie operation with the NR, senior vice president, and then the Jamie boss, and Chris, it's a Jamie spouse, and then the Tama, that is the Jamie best friend, and CJ, Jamie favorite blogger, and Mark and Jamie former co-workers. In the dark blue is the close connection. The dark blue is close connection. And then the light blue is the loose connection, like to lose connection. The medium blue is no connection at all. That is the indicator for the mapping your political career. Okay. Okay. To sum up these chapters, the implication for manager to maximize your power, to increase others' dependence on the managers. And you will not be alone in attempting to build your power bases. Try to avoid putting others in a position where they feel they have no power. By assessing behavior in political framework, you can better predict the action of the others and use that information to formulate political strategy that will gain advantages for you and your work unit, and have others understanding important or becoming political savvy. Okay, that's all for our lecture for the two chapters for today. Chapter 12 and chapter 15. Okay, any question, Ms. Jusno?
Okay, now is the session for question and answer. We have an incredible topic. It's about leadership, power, and also politics in organization. That's really interesting. Yeah. Tadi juga ada tentang sex harassment ya teman-teman. So if you interest to us, please raise hand or you can write on the chat room. Yeah. Saya tunggu ya. Okay, all right. We have Kita Savana. Kita Savana, may I open your camera, please? Langsung saja, Mbak Kita.
Yeah, Nama saya Gita Savana. Saya izin bertanya, dengan adanya kekuasaan politik, apakah berpengaruh dalam pengembangan organisasi? Seperti itu, Prof. Terima kasih.
Yeah. So, the politics, the way how they try to getting influence, if they try to getting influence, bring people, influence people to getting influence to push, make the good decision for organization, that's very good. Some the influence is not for the benefit of the organization. For example, they using office politics, because of trying to resist the change, because of they feel not secure if the organization implement some changes of for example, for the working style, or the reward, or the job placement. They try to distract. They try to use their influence by the politicking, get the influence from the power people, and then the change cannot be done. That is the bring the problem for organization, because of any change proposed by the organization to impose to the workers is very important, because they decide already. They have the consider all circumstances about the why need doing the change. But some people play important role to make the politics in office, to try to influence another people, group of people, join with them, and then resist the change. That is very rare. They use influence to support the change, to support the mission. That is the bad character in organization, where the employee resist the change. They don't want to change the nature of job, then job system, the work system. They want to change. Then very importantly, they will resist if you change their reward. Between reward, all the system in organization fall under the human resource management. For example, the human resource flow, how the organization choose the Mr. Right and Miss Right in organization. They open of the job to the public through the several media, advertise there, and then they will select within the criteria, then the call for interview, and so many type of interview. They use so many method, including using the psychometric test, psychology test, to matching with the workers, to matching to the work task or work situation. And then another system is the work system. Either they use the human only, or combination within human and technology, or using human and arm robot, or fully using technology or robot and the work system. And then also they must encourage to the using employee influence. That means every changes in organization, you must give the detailed information to the all organization, member organization, and they will give response. Either they agree or not agree. That is in Japanese, they use the from bottom to top, process. Every changes must from bottom then going to top, not imposed from top to bottom, because in Japanese there is no politics in workplace. The politics in workplace normally happen in the Eastern country. It's a country not like Japanese and Korea. That is the always happen. And then next is the reward system. Reward system also, if the organization try to make change in the work reward system, they must bring to the discussion with the subordinate or discussion with the trade union. To get the agreement, workers agree with the change of the reward system. Right? That is very rare. They use the political for the personal and success for the personal politics. Normally, politics in organization, they involve other person, involve their peers, involve their subordinate, and involve their immediate manager or immediate supervisors. Okay, a very good question.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Okay, anyone else want to ask about leadership and also about the politics and power in organization? Usually there's a lot of questions, but because some of the students go to the other place.
Yeah.
Okay, Niken, all right. Niken Juni Anissa Putri, you can open your camera and open your microphone, please.
Terima kasih, Miss. Izin bertanya, Prof. Dalam sebuah organisasi, bagaimana cara kita menyikapi seorang pemimpin yang kurang bisa adil terhadap bawahannya, serta pemimpin tersebut tidak memiliki stabilitas emosi yang baik? Terima kasih, Prof.
Okay, there is two questions. Very good. Every leaders must have the characteristic to become a good leaders. Good leaders. The characteristics of good leaders. Number one, they must have the fairness. Fairness treatment and equality in treatment. They don't practice unfair treatment. If they practice unfair treatment, they will get the complaint from the subordinate, from the peers members, and then from the trade union. And then number two, they must have the good relationship among the their subordinate and their peers. The good leaders, because of they become leaders because of they have the work with others. They work with others, and then others depend on the leaders. There is no leaders without the followers. They must consider the followers is their asset. It's an asset to success, to accomplish for the objective. So they must be careful. They must be careful. They must take care of their asset. They don't make the injustice in terms of the distribution of justice. Justice of the giving the reward. Giving the reward must be equal. Not giving reward only for a certain individual. Normally, they give reward for the group, for a group of people. Because of nowadays, people have the multitasking works. They don't have the focus on specialization only. That's why to give benefit to the organization will employ who have the talented in doing the multitasking rather than they have the only specialty. They multitasking means they become the other people. They come technician, they come finance, they come HR. So many come that they have mentioned. That is the situation in organization. That means when you acting as a leader, you must think about the welfare of your subordinate. And then you must be a nice person. And people will recognize you, become a good leader. In Islam, the nice person is Rasulullah Nabi Muhammad SAW. Because their ethic, their akhlak is Al-Quran. Al-Quran is the most complete. That is the ethics. So leaders also must have the good ethics, good behavior, and good, we call it example for their subordinate. Okay, I think can answer that question.
Okay, we have Ivan. Okay, Mas Ivan Ardianto, are you there? You may have to open your camera.
Baik Bu, terima kasih atas waktunya. Izin bertanya, Prof, terkait hubungan internal organisasi, itu kan sangat penting ya, Prof. Namun jika terjadi suatu permasalahan, nah walaupun sudah diselesaikan secara baik-baik dengan pemimpinnya, nah pasti ada rasa yang beda antara nanti anggota ataupun dengan pemimpinnya atau anggota dengan anggotanya. Nah, jika seorang leader dihadapkan hal tersebut, apakah fokus memperbaiki hubungan terlebih dahulu, hubungan internalnya, atau lebih ke fokus ke pekerjaan untuk mencapai tujuan dari organisasi tersebut, Prof? Terima kasih.
Okay. They have two condition because of if the objective is very prime, very important, they must focus on the objective. But that depend on this the type of the leadership they use. If they use the human relation leadership, they must going back for the focus to the relationship to improvise relationship between the leaders and the employee. That is very important because of the in one group. As a team, is one department, in one organization. Because of if they fail to improvise, they will spark any new problem in relationship between the subordinate and the leaders. But leaders must be smart, to choose which one they try to the we call it settle. Either they want to focus on the objective of accomplishment of the task, or try to the improvise the relationship. But for the smart leaders, they do both in one time. They achieve the objective, also focus on the improvised relationship. Then it depends on the type of the leaders. Normally, they have choose the best style or the best alternative to solve the problem. Because of if they don't solve the problem still exists there, still occur there. Then they will disrupt of the performance of the organization. Okay, hopefully answer your question.
Terima kasih, Prof.
Okay, the next question from Yuda Aditya. Yuda Aditya, are you there? You can open your camera and microphone, please.
Baik, terima kasih, Miss. Izin bertanya, Prof, mengenai apakah penting sikap leadership bagi seorang karyawan, dan bagaimana cara menumbuhkan sikap leadership tersebut bagi seorang karyawan?
This is a very good question. Every every worker, every employee must have leadership. Because of they have potential become in future become the leaders. Eh? Any performance management, they will have the one criteria or one section is the leadership style. You can lead the team, you can show your leadership. That means they must be careful. Or they must have the train, follow the training session to get the knowledge about how to become a good leader. If they don't, if he or she not born leader, they can become fall under mad leader. They must attend the training session or get guidance from the good leaders, discuss with good leaders, copy good leaders, because of they don't deny the skill of leadership, not important. Skill leadership is very important. They can use at the workplace, they can use at home, with society, with their friends. They develop from time to time, develop the good leadership. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay. All right, we have next question from Cahyaning Mulat. Please, Cahyaning Mulat, you may open camera and microphone.
Terima kasih Miss Kusna atas kesempatannya. Saya ingin bertanya, Prof, bagaimana cara kita mengetahui kualitas jiwa leadership dari seorang kandidat saat proses rekrutmen? Soalnya kadang ketika kita mewawancari seseorang, jawaban dari seseorang itu memiliki kualitas yang bagus dan sangat memuaskan. Tetapi ketika seseorang sudah terjun ke suatu proyek itu, ternyata tidak sesuai dengan jawaban saat wawancara. Nah, cara kita mengetahui jiwa leadership seseorang itu apakah hanya dengan melihat jawaban saat wawancara atau ada cara lain ya, Prof? Terima kasih.
Okay, very good question. This is nowadays when they choose the good managers, good leaders, good Mr. Right or Miss Right, the new worker, they have another method. They use the test. We call it a psychometric test, psychology test, a psychometric test, where the candidate must answer 100 questions within 5 minutes. Just imagine, 100 questions within 5 minutes or 10 minutes. That is the giving the real answer. We reflect your leadership, we reflect your behavior, we reflect your personality. 100 questions, you answer not more than 10 minutes. That you must take, you must give answer very fast. And then that is, you cannot think. You cannot think either A, B, or C. You can write it. You only choose very fastly. Some candidate cannot able to answer the full 100 of questions. They only able to answer half of the 100 of questions. Then from the result of this test, they will giving the tendency of their leadership, tendency of their talents, tendency of their personality, and then we will compare with the interview. If it's interview, if not the interview performance of interview not reflect the psychology, that means not congruent, tidak selari. So the interview panel will reject this candidate because of have the different the split personality, different result. They will take the congruent, yang salary, yang people kata matching with the interview. They show within interview, then they get result from the test. Be careful. You can Google. You can try yourself to to answer the psychometric question about your leadership style, about your personality. You know, if in education, before you join any courses or degree or master's diploma, you must take the personality test. They will show you what courses suitable for you, what type of job you will become after you graduate your after complete your study. Sometimes they choose medic because of forcing by the family, but the medical doctor is not their wish. So they will suffer when they complete the studies in the medical. That is the new method using by the organization when they make a recruitment, because of some of the that is true. Some of the result from the interview is different. And then if they choose not Mr. Right, they choose Mr. Wrong and Miss Wrong, then when they work at organization, they will giving problem to the organization. Okay, you can test. You can Google. You can test. After this, you can test. You know what type of your leadership style. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof.
Yeah. The next question from Nurvita Febriani. Please, Mbak Nurvita Febriani.
Baik, terima kasih Ms. Jusnu telah diberikan kesempatan. Izin bertanya, Prof. Jika dalam suatu organisasi ada atasan yang melakukan politik organisasi dengan menempatkan kepentingan pribadi di atas kepentingan organisasi dan menyebabkan kerugian bagi karyawan, apa yang sebaiknya dilakukan? Walaupun karena secara etik kan hal tersebut tidak baik, namun jika ditegur atau dilaporkan dapat menempatkan kita di situasi yang sulit, atau lebih baik bersikap tidak tahu. Walaupun tadi di defensive behavior telah dijelaskan beberapa cara merespon tersebut, namun secara praktek lapangan masih bingung bagaimana menyikapinya, mengambil tindakan. Terima kasih.
Okay. Any members of organization, whether they are the leaders or supervisors or subordinate, they not allowed to the doing the politics in workplace. Because of politics in workplace, show they produce or they try to achieve their personal objective rather than the achieve the organizational objective. That is the always happen and the in organization, but there are certain we call it committee. We will manage this problem, and maybe that person, either the leaders, employee, subordinate, or the supervisors, they will call by the certain committee to make explanation why they practice the politicking in organization. But politicking in organization is very bad effort, very bad effort in organization. They will produce the uncertainty in our organization, and then not give the benefit to the organization. Sometimes make worse in organization. Don't worry. They have this setup of the one committee to advise him. Must focus or revert to their personal objective, to the organizational objective. Okay, because of they work to organization, and then organization not follow their interest. The interest of the organization must become first, not the personal interest. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Terima kasih atas penjelasannya.
Alright, any question again from others? Mbak Riana? Oh, usually Mbak Riana active to asking.
Saya, Miss.
Okay, please. Silahkan.
Oke, izin bertanya, Prof. Seringkali dalam perekrutan karyawan ataupun seringkali Oke, sorry Miss, saya ulangi lagi. Seringkali dalam perekrutan karyawan ataupun pegawai itu terjadi ketimpangan antara karyawan yang dari pihak luar, calon pegawai dari pihak luar dan calon pegawai yang masih memiliki ikatan kekeluargaan, Miss. Apakah hal tersebut bisa dibenarkan? Karena jika dilihat dari sisi pimpinan maupun HRD yang bekerja di situ, biasanya mereka itu sudah mengetahui kemampuan kalau untuk keluarganya itu ada kepercayaan juga kepada saudaranya tersebut dan juga sudah mengetahui skill dari saudaranya tersebut. Nah, sehingga itu rasanya tidak adil kalau untuk orang luar. Tapi kalau untuk pimpinan itu sah-sah saja. Itu bagaimana ya, Prof?
This is normal happen in organization. When they have the call it job vacancy, job vacancy, they will advertise, and then the candidate must use the influential people to get the influence to get the job. During the interview, they give the letter asking to helping them to get the job, or they have the invite in the dinners also, have the special contact, go to the house of the panel of the interview, that is very bad practice, because of we must choose the right people, Mr. Right and Miss Right, not based on the family relationship or friendly relationship or using the higher authority, higher influential people to have them to get the job. This is very bad, very bad practice. Yes, we cannot eliminate this practice, but we can avoid this practice. We can reduce this practice, but depend on the system of recruitment in organizations. If me, I always become the panel of interview. I don't accept any letters, any instruction from the upper level or outsiders to choose the people. No, because of I don't work with them. I work this organization. Then I need very good people, very good officer. That's why I must follow the criteria given in the advertisement, and then they must show talented and fulfill all requirements, and then including the personality, the qualification, and then the pass their psychometric test. We don't depend from the influence from others. If you become the managers in the future, you don't follow instruction from others. We will destroy your credibility. We will destroy also your organization. You must be careful. You must be careful. Okay. If consider that is the consider is a bribery also. It's a bribery also. You misuse power. You misuse power. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, any question again? All right, any question again? Okay. One more question from me, Professor Dato.
Okay.
Yeah, I had bad experience about sex harassment because in your material before, you wrote about sex harassment too. It was when I was a fresh graduate and I got a new job, and also I didn't have any experience yet at the time, and I got some sex harassment from my boss. Yeah, you can say like that. But at the time, I felt so, how can I say, afraid and scared, and I let him do bad thing to me. So, do you have any suggestion from the student here? And maybe there will be a fresh graduate too, and also get internship to minimize the sex harassment in the organization.
Okay, very good question. I make a study, I make research about the sexual harassment in workplace, including in higher learning institution also. This is always happen, you know, in university, always happen because of the lecturer or the professor. They have power. They have power to call anybody to come to see her or to see him in their room, and then asking to see him or her, one person, not accompany with the other person. This is very important. So my advice, you don't accept that direction. If they have the instruction, want to see him, they must accompany you. The student or the person must accompany with another person to protect you, because of and then depend on the time. If the time normally the waktu siang, weekdays, not weekdays, bukannya waktu di luar office hours, during office hours, that is good, that is okay. But if they want to see that person after office hours, for example at night, lonely, that is always happen. That will always happen because of you giving chance to them. Normally, don't give chance to them to the doing sexual harassment. You know, sexual harassment. This is always has happened when you have the very far away from the other person, you know, in the isolated place, in boss room or in meeting room, you know, you must avoid see them in the isolated place. You must suspicious. You must keep distant from the people try to do sexual harassment to you. And then if happen the attempt to the make the sexual harassment, you must report to high authority to tell what happened to you, and then asking the taking action for the that person. Doesn't matter he is a boss, he is your professors or your lecturers, no problem. That is you must avoid. Okay, you must avoid. If you don't report, you will try again. The first, second attempt, third attempt. That's why I encourage, especially for the female student, they have the martial art. You know martial art? Martial art, taekwondo, or judo, or silat, to protect them. And when si pelaku try to doing that, they will avoid, protect themselves. Okay, Mr. Snow.
Okay, thank you very much. So girls, don't insecure, okay? If you just being graduate, fresh graduate, and you got a job, and someone do the bad thing to you, don't afraid to ask help, okay? All right. One more is the question from Fitrina before. It's usually happen because karena kadang-kadang yang namanya rekrutmen itu ada yang diutamakan yang ada di dalam dulu itu ya. Itu usually happen. Tapi memang perlu peningkatan pengembangan diri ya, Mbak Fitrina, dan pembuktian bahwa memang kalian layak ya, you deserve to get the job that you already send the application. Okay. Thank you very much for today, Professor Dato Nasir, and thank you very much for all of the students who joined with us today. I hope that we will still have one more session next week, the last one. I hope that you still join with us. Don't forget for the class, the student to fill the presentation form. Yeah, your friend already sent to the chat. All right. Thank you very much, Professor Dato Nasir. I hope that you still keep healthy.
Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Oke, teman-teman yang lainnya, please don't forget to fill the presentation link ya.